You are watching an Al Bear review. Cue the music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with the How to Get Away with Murder review. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Everybody be sure to like, share, and comment. Excuse me. So, I didn't do a review last week. I was out of town. The episode was, whatever. Annalise and Frank trying to scare Bonnie from taking lead counsel on, not Bonnie, but Tegan, excuse me, from taking lead counsel on Nate's lawsuit against the state for wrongful death of his father, Nate Sr. So, this episode, I'm gonna have to get into my bag on this one, get into my thinking cap. The episode was very frustrating. I'm gonna tell you why. At this point, since we know Annalise is going to be killed, murdered, or whatever the term you want to associate with her death, since we know this, I'm not interested in her going into her classroom at Middleton and having cases for the students to figure out. So, said all that to say, this week, she basically, Snow White and the Dwarfs type of case. Basically, Snow White is on trial for killing the queen, which is the mom, and one of the dwarfs has made a deal to say that Snow White is guilty, that she killed her. And let me tell you, like I said, I'm gonna have to get into my mental bag for this one, because what I read with this is she subconsciously, however you say the damn word, she's subconsciously trying to put into her kids' heads, especially the Keaton 5, how to handle her disappearance, right? So basically, she had the class come up with different type of defenses, and she'll pick the winner and give them a check or whatever. And nobody defense was good enough for her to say, y'all getting this money. She said, y'all forgot the twist. And the twist was the queen. And eventually, after he was able to figure it out in the police report or in the case files or whatever the case is. There was nobody ever found. So the defense could be, to defend Snow White, defense could be that the queen faked her death because nobody was ever found. And then you just got, these dwarfs talking about something with Snow White, but there's no body that was ever found, and it was pushed off a cliff, so you should find something, right? So that let me know that she's trying to prepare her Keaton 5, as well as Gabriel and whoever else. We kind of get introduced to a new character, Gabriel, new study partner in this episode. I'm gonna call her Vanessa, but she's trying to prepare them how to deal with her disappearance that's coming up. And I'm not really a fan of it. I'm just not. So, let's shift to what's more important. So, this episode, Nate's wrongful deaths civil suit is ongoing. And let me tell you, I'm just gonna put my frustrations out with and tell what happened in the episode that way, because it is so frustrating to watch a show that was once so great that I absolutely loved at one point in time give us sloppy writing. Or was it sloppy? Let me just get into it. So, this episode, Bonnie had to step down as being Nate's lead counsel because of the conflict of interest between her and Miller. So that led Tegan to step up and become lead, even after she was scared about Cobra, or whatever her name. And basically, she told Annalise Cobra is out of the state with FBI, security detail. So she's safe, she's fine. And so what frustrated me is this. Annalise and Frank, at least the previous episodes, has been trying their absolute hardest to maintain Miller's guiltiness within this case, because that's the only way to ensure that the governor doesn't go down, or is en route to going down, so she come after them, as well as keeps Bonnie from knowing the truth, as well as keep Nate out of prison for basically beating Miller to death. So this episode, after Bonnie got called on the stand to testify, I forget exactly what happened, but she's driving home on the phone with Annalise. And throughout the episode, Laurel's sister is spying on Bonnie, and they played with Bonnie brakes to the point where she couldn't stop, and so she was in this bad wreck. Now, let me see if I can drag something out of this. Why would Xavier Castile and his sister want Bonnie dead? That's the question that we must ask ourselves. That's the question that I'm asking the writers. And the only thing I could come up with is to scare whoever else away from the case, so they wouldn't take the case over. Bonnie lived or whatever, and so everybody went to go see Bonnie in the hospital: Frank, Annalise, Nate, Tegan. And what killed me, because this episode, Bonnie testified that the guard, I forget the guard name, and I left my notes on my desk. The guard who she tried to get immunity for, Gordon, that's the guard name is Gordon. If they can get Gordon full immunity, she will testify on the stand that Miller had them killed, Nate Sr. And so they did. They got her immunity. Now, here's the thing. Annalise wanted to send Frank to Gordon to ensure that she says Miller was the one that gave them the hit, right? But as she sent him, Bonnie was in the wreck, so it kind of threw everything off route. So her and Frank is talking at the hospital, and she said, "We got to tell the truth. Make her say the truth that it was Xavier Castile." So Frank going threatening the lady, child, husband, anybody to her. And so once she get on the stand, Tegan ends up cracking her and saying it was Xavier. And then she went as far as to say that Miller, he tried to push up Nate Sr.'s transfer because I guess he had some suspicions or whatever he knew. Now, here's what, and then so that pretty much led Bonnie being upset at Frank at the end, telling him to get the hell out of her room, etc., etc. So now, let me start thinking about this. This is what pisses me off when I say it's become sloppy writing. As smart as Annalise is, and maybe this is not sloppy writing, what is her ultimate goal? That's the question here. Who is she trying to separate from somebody? So by telling Frank to do this, she had to know that Bonnie was gonna want to have nothing to do with Frank after that. Correct? That's what I'm thinking. Because Bonnie was under the assumption that Miller was guilty and he had to, his death was, justified or whatever the case is. So Annalise had to know that. But what killed me is the timing of it. So you use that, you play that card right before you get ready to use your VIP services escape. I just didn't get it. So you have a court case with your students to let them know how to deal with your disappearance subconsciously, and then you break up Bonnie and Frank. Why? I can't really wrap my mind around why she would go about it that way with Bonnie and Frank. With them damn kids, I don't care. But anywho, let's rewind. So Annalise has been trying to tell Nate, Tegan, anybody who wants to be associated with this case that the governor will throw whoever under the bus to make sure she does not go in jail. The governor got to the point where because they called the governor on the stand, and the governor got up there on the stand and repeated the same thing her president always say, fake news. So Nate thought he had a wild card, which was he thought that him having surveillance of the governor's official vehicle outside of Miller's home was going to be the nail in the coffin. Oh, but no. She has her track covered. She knew that he had those photos. So she pretty much had one of her assistants fired and pretty much blamed it on her, saying that, you know, it was a gentleman in the area that the assistant would take her car and fill out the necessary paperwork to get the car to go and see the gentleman. Now, several reasons that doesn't make sense. An assistant borrowing or getting access granted to the governor's vehicle, I think not. Sloppy writing. I didn't like that whatsoever. But she was able to skate by with it, or whatever the case is. So, like I said, Bonnie had to testify. She basically testified about Miller being guilty. And it was just one of those episodes. Like I say, because the show about the end, I don't really want to focus too much on these kids. You understand? Like Gabriel having a whole new situation, trying to make Michaela jealous. Michaela questioning, does she have father issues or men issues? Oliver trying to cheer up the crew because they down and out, overcompensating, getting their entrance essays to Middleton. Connor getting mad at Oliver and Oliver going to get everybody dogs to play with. It's too much unnecessary writing. And so we see the previews for next week, and I don't want to speculate too early. But Annalise, at the end of the episode, Annalise called the VIP service and they give her step-by-step instructions on what to do, etc., etc. Now, the only question that we need answered is who in the hell killed Annalise Keaton? And is she gonna fake her death, or is she gonna be murdered? Because we seen in that clip when she was gathering passports, identification, money, we seen the murder weapon on the floor as if it looked like some type of struggle had took place there. So, but we also seen next week she gonna come back. I'm not happy because I just feel like it's a sloppy writing. What is her purpose? And obviously the governor, once Xavier the Gordon officer got up there and said it was Xavier Castile, the governor did everything she could on national television to separate herself from Xavier Castile to ensure that she does not go down with him. Here's the question. I don't know what to believe about Wes, because part of me feel like this guy's still alive. I have to say this. I have been convinced, through unconventional wisdom, that he's alive. And I don't know what to make of Laurel. I don't. So, my question would be, what's next for the governor? Because the governor has not really appeared in episodes before last week, I believe. And now she's appearing a bit more often. So is it possible that the governor is going to be responsible for Annalise's death and put it on the kids? It's just like, I don't believe the writing is so it's so unclear. We have no sense of direction in the way that the show is going, and it's ending. Like, we don't know. We don't know. So I don't know. I just feel like, at least in past seasons when somebody died, we get bits and snippets of clues, and maybe I'm missing. I still believe that Nate gonna ultimately kill Annalise. He's one of my suspects. I talk about off camera with some of my friends. It's Nate, as well as Bonnie. And Bonnie basically seemed like she's trying to escape from underneath Annalise, and now that she found out that Annalise, as well as Frank, knew that Miller was innocent, and now that she has some motive. But can we really see Bonnie killing Annalise? And so, moving on, so I can wrap this up, Nate pretty much won his settlement. The state offered him $10 million, but it comes under some conditions that he's not able to sue anybody else related to this case, specifically the governor. And the governor, every chance she get, pointing the finger at Emmett Crawford. And so it's like, why? Why are you trying to put it on Emmett so bad? So Nate still want to continue to fight. It's not about the money. And Tegan said, look here, dog. If you continue going down this road, skeletons will be surfacing. Like, the real reason D.A. Miller was killed, like Tegan already know that Nate had something to do with it. Just the way he going about this, his anger, his aggression. It's so easy to see that he got something to do with something that he ain't got no business having something to do with, if you know what I'm saying. So, but see, that's another thing I got to question. Why is the governor, even after Xavier Castille's name has been mentioned in a courthouse setting, why is she still putting it on Emmett Crawford, a dead man? Why? That's what I don't get. And so it's tricky, man. It's like a lot going on. I have no clue how to dissect, man. And y'all got any clue as to what in the hell going on? Who gonna kill Annalise? Annalise trying to disappear, but obviously she gonna come back next week and gonna be at the center of a murder on campus. Michaela daddy, he gone for good now. Gabriel mama, so you giving us all these new characters and then you just take them away from us. Like, why would you do that? Why would you pull on our hearts like that when they ain't got nothing to do with nothing? You know, they just sloppy right, man. Don't be introducing, hey, what's that saying? Don't introduce me to a vibe you can't pertain or contain or keep up or whatever. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. They gave us so many new characters. Laura's sister, Laura brother, Gabriel. It's all over the place. I just don't know what to believe, man. And I can't believe I'm so passionate about this bull crap, man. I would, Lord have mercy. But, yeah, reboot scandal. That's all I got, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If y'all know what's going on, let me know. If I missed anything important that y'all feel like is important, let me know as well. What if Annalise had Nate Sr. killed? I mean, at this point, we don't know. Anything is possible, but until next time, happy Friday. You know the vibes. I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Life been busy, but we're going to get a vlog up real soon. Peace.